over 5,000 such and such? Because I mean, I ping everything.
Get you some hats, cut.
Yeah.
I have
That
hats
looks
on
fresh.
some of them. I probably hats on like half of them.
Get you some more hats.
You get free hats as well, though.
Get you some hats.
You get free hats as well, though. So I mean,
we'll get more hats.
Whatever. This isn't Team Fortress 2.
Oh, wait,
What's up, everyone?
I'm gonna get shit for this. Keep going.
Okay. What's up, everyone? This is Press X Start Podcast Season 5, Episode 36. Press X Start Podcast is an audio and video platform seeking to transform the video game media landscape through an underserved and protective point of view. Restorative justice for the underrepresented programmers, developers, and consumers. I am your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka I got a little ditty from the London Logs. Yeah, a little ditty. Sean knows a lot about this because he's further in the child development camp than I am. But I just had my first food diaper. Changing when baby started eating solid foods and changing that diaper.
Oh, the food is still there?
No, it smelled horrendous. I opened the diaper and my eyes literally started blinking red. I'm like, I'm in danger.
Jesus.
It
is, boy, like
that's biological warfare.
I don't wish it on my worst enemies. It was horrible.
Just tell it to the Department of Defense. I am Sean MF Ross.
What the MF stand for?
Master of Fake Newtons.
There was questions.
Yep. I'm not gonna ask him though. I am your heavyweight champion from Wish Nigga California, aka the gender because we watch niggas, aka ever since my Instagram got hacked, I am now the incognito, the artist formerly known as Marcus Ellison.
That's the symbol.
That's awesome.
It's not
Last
awesome.
up?
It's terrible.
Oh no. You're right.
They keep asking people to do Bitcoin things.
Yeah. I'm about to say, like, it's just like that's not Marcus. Like, oh yes,
not at all. Like one of my the only solace I get from this is that everybody knows me well enough who follows me that are like, yeah, bro, I think you got hacked. Because they know good and well that I would never post any Bitcoin shit on my Instagram.
Hey there, fellow friends. Would you like to make some money? I found this exciting new opportunity.
Called crypto.
Yeah. My Instagram's gone.
You get it back, though.
I won't.
All right. Last up.
They can't hear a wave.
He did it again.
He's Mr. Bean. All right. Let's keep it moving.
Well, it's Avery. In case you're not watching this, you should be because you're missing pretty great comedy. With that being said, and us being formally introduced, let's jump into the highlights. This is what we're gonna be talking about for this podcast. So we'll be talking about Life is Strange and the recently released Kena Bridge of Spirits, and it's pronounced Kena and not Kina and not Kana. So there you go.
But in the game, for some reason, they pronounce it Kana.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, that's weird. We'll talk to them. No, we won't. We're going to keep the talk spoiler free. After that, we're going to be getting to our quick hits. We're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct showcase. I say showcase because that's what it is to me. I'm sorry if it's just Nintendo Direct, but it's a showcase to me. Lastly, on the highlights, we'll be talking about Crystal Dynamics teaming up with the Initiative to help on the Perfect Dark game. And is that a sign or is that a worry?
I have thoughts on that.
Yeah. Other than that, our housekeeping. If you have questions, make sure you ask us at pressxtostarttv.com/questions because we will read it there and only there. Other than that, let's get into the games we've been playing. So, Marcus.
Yes.
You, sir, you've been playing a thing called Blacks is Strange?
Yes, DJ. Blacks are strange. Yeah, no, I beat Life is Strange True Colors. Out of respect for Avery, I will not be spoiling anything and talking too at length about story details. But what I will say is I was pleasantly surprised with this game. Uh,
Okay.
it'll probably end up on my game of the year list just in terms of the way that they were able to tell the story and implement kind of her powers in meaningful ways.
Okay. Yeah.
While there's certain things that were questions that I had that didn't exactly get answered, for the most
Mhm.
part, everything that they did in terms of doling out the story and pacing everything to me was very effective. I actually really liked the characters in this game. I thought that they were all really well drawn and performed. And
Okay.
yeah, if this is any indication of kind of where this company is going forward and where this franchise can potentially go, then I think this is a very good sign. And my only
So
regret. Oh, good.
I don't know too much about that series, but did they leave any room for like a sequel or anything, or like a continuation of that
Well,
story?
For this, in this case, not really.
Okay. Okay.
Without giving anything away, but
the
what
well,
I will
Yeah.
say,
the
oh,
Life
what?
is Strange games are inherently anthologies.
Yeah, they're
Like
anthologies.
Gotcha.
they,
Okay.
for the most part, they all exist in the same world to justify how all these people have these interesting abilities. But
Mhm.
the story from one is not continuing to the story from two, and the story from two is not continuing to the story of three. So if there is
Okay.
if there's a Life is Strange 4 or whatever they give it a subtitle for, odds are it won't deal with any of these characters. Because trust me,
Okay.
Though I hope.
after
What?
Life is Strange 1 should have definitely had a sequel of the way that game ends, and like just
Yeah.
or at least some way
Mhm.
to emotionally deal with the after effects of that game, regardless of what choice you make. Because
Yeah.
both of them are
Is that
one
with
of the
the end of the world thing?
Yeah.
yeah, spoiler in
End
one
of yeah,
Oh,
end of
sorry.
that area.
yeah, well like,
Okay.
this is a spoiler for the original Life is Strange. There are two endings to that game.
Mm-hmm.
Both are the ending is dependent on how you feel about the secondary main character of that game, Chloe. She gets killed in the beginning of the game, and the first thing that Max, the main character, rewinds for powers is that death. And in doing so, she creates a temporal event that will eventually destroy her town. So the ending of the game is her being like, I need to make a decision on whether I go back and save Chloe or I let this town die. Now, for me personally, I met all these characters, I made so many friends, and I didn't like Chloe, so at no point was I going to save her when it got to that ending.
Yeah. I
Terrible.
think
You made your decision,
but
Chloe.
but then there are two endings. One where Max killed her. Max allows her best friend to die and has to deal with those emotional consequences when the game doesn't resolve. Or one where Max and her friend get in a car and just drive off into the sunset, and everyone else they know just dies.
Whoa.
mhm.
Yikes.
And
Sounds
so
like a
like
good time to me.
these are anthologies, so there wouldn't be a sequel realistically. But I was gonna say my only regret is that I won't be able to do more with Alex Chin because I really enjoyed her development as a character, and I wanted to spend more time with her and these characters.
Right.
Are they Asian?
Alex and her brother are Asian.
It's a little on the nose, isn't it?
Wow.
I'm calling out the developers, man.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
These people have names. Alex Chin is a real name. It's not like she was Wong Fu, which is also a name that
boy.
people have. Anyway, my one of my hopes for the progression of this series is actually that they do some like unbreakable shit, and we actually
Oh,
get
okay.
and we get like a game in the future where all the protagonists from these Life is Strange games come together, and it's like what's Glass. It's
Life is
like,
Strange Justice League edition.
right, exactly. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be a good way to kind of close out the Life is Strange saga, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. And then you also have some stuff on Overwatch. You've been overwatching?
Yeah, I just played Overwatch because it's Overwatch and that's what I do. It's my Apex Legends.
No, I understand. Yeah.
But
I get
No,
it.
you don't understand because he's gonna start talking about Gundam, and they're completely different strata of video game.
It got me, Avery.
I mean, the only thing worth noting about Overwatch is the fact that I played Overwatch this week to take my frustrations from another game that we'll talk about in a little bit out on that game. So yeah.
All right. Well then. How about we just talk about that game? Let's talk about.
Yeah. AKA.
I'm sorry, Kana.
The best Pixar game ever, AKA Game of the Year for 2013.
All right.
It's
Let's go because we've all been playing it. We're
Uh-huh.
all around roughly the same place, which is
pretty
essentially
much.
after the first major boss
fight. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep this spoiler free. We'll just talk about probably combat, a little bit of our feelings on the game, and Avery, you go first.
Yes. Okay, so I think today this has been an interesting year for platform. I think 3
Mhm.
high-profile platformers came up. We all played Ratchet and Clank, and for the most part, we were like, "Oh, this is a great evolution of what this type of game has become." A lot of evolution has become making it a shooter. That's always been in the DNA of what a Ratchet and Clank game has been.
Yeah.
Psychonauts 2 also came out, and my thoughts on that have evolved from this is a game I liked and enjoyed to this is a game that, frankly, I think is a little overrated. But that's neither here nor there. And then I got the Kenna, and my first instinct from that game were, I cannot believe, let's talk about how weird the marketing for Kenna was. PlayStation showed it off as their big showcase last year, said absolutely nothing of it outside of random blog posts of it getting delayed. It showed up at the Tribeca Film Festival's E3 showcase.
So weird.
And then
Did not know that.
2 weeks ago before the game comes out, when PlayStation does their big showcase for the end of the year, they show Deathloop for the 15th time, but say nothing of Kenna. And then
Kana.
And then I started reading the tea leaves of embargoes with this game, and everyone was like, the embargo is the day of the game coming out. And I'm like, ooh.
Which is not normally a good sign.
No, it is
a
not.
good sign.
Right.
And I was like, this is going to be rough. This is probably going to be rough. And then I wake up the next day, and for the most part, they're all glowing reviews. I don't read any of them because I try to make my opinion on this game based entirely on my experience and not have someone else's words getting to my head. But I started playing the game, and I'm like, this is probably one of the most beautiful games I played this year. Wow, wow, the mechanical controls of this game feel incredibly dated to, wow, this game is way more involved than I thought it was going to be. I love this game.
Yeah. Sean?
Nah, Avery, if you're not done, keep going.
No, I'm pretty much done. I want to bounce off some other people with some other things.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the comments, but just
Okay, so my first thought is I don't have too many gripes about it yet. I only wish that it had more momentum or more fluidity with the controls
jumping.
or the motion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the momentum and the jumping, you don't jump forward, you jump up and then you just stop all momentum and kind of jump up in place, or at least when you do the double jump.
Yeah.
And then the waypoint system that we were griping about earlier, there is none.
Well, that was off air, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that may be intentional though, but so far, also, have y'all spent any of the money yet in the game?
That's why no, because I find that the way a gripe I have with this game is the way it dulls out the hats. I think the hats are super cool, but the fact that the currency in the game is based entirely on buying hats is really weird.
And they give you so much currency.
Yeah, and then even weirder is that like you unlock a new hat. Instead of giving you that hat, that just means you can then go buy that hat. So I end up not spending any money.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's called capitalism, Avery. I don't understand what the issue is.
Yeah, but it's weird.
I don't know about y'all, but my rot are cute. My rot, all of them have hats, and they all look amazing.
The hats are like 10, let's call them dollars. Except for I think one that was like 100.
Oh, they get more.
They get more expensive as.
Yeah, there is one that was like 500 that I just.
There's one at the bottom, which I'm assuming you'll get probably toward the end of the game. That's 1,000.
Let's go. I got the money. I am.
Me too.
But you can see. Oh, you can see the. I didn't scroll all the way down, but even then, I think I have like over 5,000 such and such. Because I mean, I ping everything.
Get you some hats, cuz.
Yeah.
I have hats on
fresh.
some of them. I probably hats on like half of them.
Get you some more hats.
You get free hats as well, though.
Get you some hats.
You get free hats as well, though. So I mean,
we'll get more hats.
Whatever. This isn't Team Fortress 2. But I don't have any gripes yet, other than it's a little bit more difficult than I thought, because I have had. I'm not gonna say I've been on a boss for like hours, but they're just giving me a little bit more trouble than I thought they would have. The tree guardian or whatever the hell, the
shrine guardian, where it's like one giant boss and then like 10 other little guys who were just attacking you at every moment.
Wait, is that the
him?
Wood Knight?
And there's one slightly before that.
The Wood Knight.
There are two guardians. Yeah. So the Wood Knight, the shrine guardian, and then the guy after that. I can beat them, but I just can't brute force them, as you know I like to do in games. So
right.
I wouldn't even say
it's not in this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily hard. You just have to take your time and actually look at what they're doing and stuff. Although I wish your dodge range was a little bit. I wish you dodged quicker or something, or the parrying was more intuitive, I guess. But I haven't even really tried it all that much, so whatever.
Okay. So I'll go, and then Marcus will go because Marcus has some things to say.
I'm here to poop on your party. I'm just kidding.
Right? I got a fresh bag.
Joke's on you. I like truffles.
Disgusting.
But yeah, I'm having a great time with this game. I will say that I also, like Avery, saw the reviews, but I didn't read into them. I was just, gonna play this game fresh, not knowing anything. And I had a very weird experience because on the surface of it, this game is a very Pixar, like super polished animation looking game. And then playing it, it's just like, this is a Dark Souls game. What's happening right now? Why are like little things why the first like big enemy you fight is like the giant wood looking plant with the sword, and it's like, why is this thing giving smoke right now? Right, yeah, right. Pretty much. And it's so weird because there is, you have the bright and cute side of the game, and then when you're playing the game, it's a complete different experience because like you do have to use strategy to beat a lot of these encounters. Like there is, if you pick up one of the spirit mail in the game, basically it's a collectible. You take it back to the essentially the hub city, town place. You unlock a new home. And in that home, there are 3 chests. So
that one, right?
Yeah. And it's just like, what the it is a proper challenge.
And it's not even the fight itself. It's hard. It's the amount. It's the objective they give you. That's and the time limit they give you to do it. And I'm like, oh, this is.
Yeah. So essentially, what happens there is there's 3 chests, and it's basically like a tournament style tier between the 3 chests. So the first chest is like you have to kill 15 enemies in like 60 seconds or something. And on the face of it, it's like, all right, this is, just keep spamming the light attack, heavy attack, whatever combo you got going on. and then the next chest is like 30 enemies in like a minute and 30 seconds. And in that chest, there is, instead of it being just like the small enemies with the hammer with the axe, it's like the bigger enemies. There's the flying bug creatures and stuff, and just like, what? This is it's jarring a little bit for the level of difficulty in the encounter versus the aesthetics of the game. And it's one of those things where on the surface you might think like, that's kind of grating, but I absolutely enjoy the mesh of the two, because for me, I feel like Dark Souls, the game, has never been appealing, not for the difficulty, but for the aesthetic. I just think that it looks too dark and gray and brown and brown and gray and a little bit of silver there. But like, I feel like the color scheme of this game, the brightness of it, and Avery's agreeing with me right now.
No, I'm shaking my head the opposite way.
I know.
I agree with I agree about your praise on Canada's aesthetic. The saying that the Dark Souls aesthetic is gray, brown, and silver, and more brown and gray is just patently false.
Well, when you only played the first stage, Avery, what do you expect?
Okay, well,
just say you hate Berserk and keep it moving, DJ.
But yeah, like overall, it's just I'm just having a really good time with it, and I'm interested to see how the challenge changes, because that's one of the things that a lot of people have been saying, that every level, every stage is different, and they offer new challenges, so you're never really doing the same thing twice. But yeah, Marcus.
Yeah, I hate this game. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
No, I initially was the harshest one on this game. I was like, because I didn't look at any of the reviews actually.
Yeah,
I was just going off of the hype that was in the Discord chat, and so I got in there and I was just like, all right, let's see what the hubbub's about. And I was like, am I missing something? Because everybody's telling me this is stupendous, and I'm just like, I played stupendous games. This doesn't feel like a stupendous game.
Let me tell you about Overwatch.
I was like, I felt like me on the Last of Us 2 podcast, where I was the only one that was like, this is the best game I've ever played in my life. But I will say that it took time for the game to kind of find its footing for me, because I think that the early, let's call it the tutorial section of the game, was kind of rough.
Have you played a Dark Souls game before?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't like them.
Name the game. Name the game.
I played a little bit of Bloodborne. I played a little bit of Sekiro.
Okay.
Well, this game is more in line with Sekiro than it is the other Souls games.
Yeah. But I will say that what really kind of started to draw me in with the game is, like you guys were saying, the Pixar aesthetic. Because when you get to the actual, I guess, Outworld section of the game, and then they give you get to the title screen and everything, that was when I was like, oh, so this is bigger than I was expecting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's coming together, and the world is delightful. It does a good job of balancing the light and the dark, because when things get dark in this game, they get surprisingly dark.
Yeah. It's very effective.
Yeah,
and
I'll be honest, I didn't know those two kids were dead.
Yeah.
I knew.
We'll talk about that.
I knew they were dead, but that's because they kept teleporting everywhere.
Well,
and I'm like, they're spirits.
Well, no, I need to put a pin in this point right here, because like every other character you meet up to that point does the teleporting thing, and I'm like, oh, so this is just a world of like spirit people, and then you get to the end of their story, and like, oh no, they're spirit people, but they're spirit people because they're dead.
Yeah. They died recently.
I will say though, I just assumed that most people in that game are dead, so it didn't surprise me when I found out that he was dead. Yeah, so but that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
So yeah, in a lot of ways, this feels like a really good Avatar game. in just the way that it balances the light and the dark. The music is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The music in this game is up there with Ghost of Tsushima for some of the best video game music I've heard in a very long time. Yeah, it's very good. But the combat,
and we could talk about it.
Man, oh man. Is it a whole bunch of bullshit in places? And I say that as like, I've admittedly been spoiled by Devil May Cry for action games. So like, to me, Devil May Cry is the perfect cross section of difficulty and reward, where when you get good at Devil May Cry, you feel like the biggest badass in the world.
Can I interest you in some Bayonetta?
But I also played Bayonetta. I just like Devil May Cry more than Bayonetta. But I do like Bayonetta. But it's like,
real quick, I didn't realize that there were two separate studios. I thought they were the same studios making the game.
I understand why you think. I understand why you think that.
Well,
I get it.
The creator of Devil May Cry. If I got my shit correct, I think the creator of Devil May Cry, the original Devil May Cry, and sort of the architect of that franchise, left and went to Platinum.
Oh,
he's one of the Platinum founders.
That's what I was saying. I get why you think that.
Yeah.
But so with Devil May Cry, like I said, you feel like a badass when you're good at it, but it also makes you work for it, but it doesn't feel cheap. I feel like at times in this game, they do a lot of really cheap shit. And I feel like I'm losing sometimes, not because I didn't do what I was supposed to, but because the game actively started freaking out and got cheap.
It's like, oh, you're winning. Oh,
yeah, exactly. I'll show you to win. And I also feel like I will give the game kudos in terms of like, at first the combat feels really basic, but once you start upgrading things, it kind of opens up a little more, and then you get like access to this bow, which is a game changer, and then apparently there are other things that are upgradables that come along the way. So I will not say that the combat is basic like I initially thought, but I do think that it could, whenever this studio does their next game, I feel like there's some kinks they need to work out in terms of combat, especially if they go back to this style of game.
Yeah. Yeah, like just to go on that, like, because I'm a stickler when it comes to combat. Is anyone who's listened or watched us know that I am very critical on games. But yeah, in terms of the combat, I understand what you're saying, and I definitely do have those pangs at times. But I think for me, I understand that, okay, this game wants you to play in a certain way. And if you're not playing in that certain way, then it feels very abrasive, because the dodge roll doesn't work like a dodge would work in 2021 when it comes to like a very normal game other than Souls. Like the jumping and attack doesn't necessarily work as smooth as you'd want it to work. The normal 3-hit string, there's a pause at the end. You're kind of like, what's going on here? Why is it so abrasive?
Can I say
in these ways?
Can I say one thing and then I'll let you?
Yeah.
I fundamentally have an issue with games that want you to play a certain way, because I feel like that's not what you're supposed to be doing. It depends on the type of the game. Like if it's a narrative-based game, then obviously you play a certain way. But like in terms of games that are action-based, I'm like, why would you confine the player to play it only one way? I feel like that is that's an issue with the game design. And it should never be that restrictive.
I would push back a little bit, only because like I do agree in terms of like, you know, if I want to do a 3-string followed by the rot hammer, why is there such a delay in between the two like moves? But like I get that, but at the same time, I do understand that at least for this game, they want you to rely on the counters and get good at countering.
Right.
And I think
if only the counters always worked.
Yeah, that's I think that is just if this game had a bit more polish on the combat side, it would feel better to, fall in step on how the game wants you to play.
Yeah.
Like
Because
I
Ghost
mean,
of
right
Tsushima is a direct example of doing that really well for the most
right,
part.
exactly. Like that game wants you to play in a particular way, and it forces you to do it at times. But
Mhm.
because the combat system,
I'd also say Ghost is a little bit more generous in its combat.
oh yeah,
He
absolutely.
is also
Yeah.
a warrior. She is not.
That's also true too. Yeah,
Isn't she though?
She's a spirit guide who has a staff that can
And
swing the
fights.
staff around.
And
Yeah.
fights regularly.
I mean, that's because she has to. But apparently, the new
That's what
patch
warriors
made.
do.
Apparently, the new patch made parry countering easier. So
Okay.
Oh, okay. So
they have a patch.
Okay.
So if you haven't closed the game, you just been putting it in rest mode, then go update it.
I'll check that out because I may have
I hate
figured
the
out.
current state of video games.
But yeah, like
I mean, they're like, if people are having trouble with XYZ, they can fix it. I mean,
no, yeah, I get that. I'm just,
yeah.
I mean,
So in terms of
in retrospect, it's way better than what we used to have. And this part of Metroid Prime I can't get past because the game is fundamentally broken. Oh, we can't do anything about it. You're just shit out of luck. All right then.
send it to Nintendo. Hopefully they'll respond. But yeah, like to describe the combat, I'm trying to describe the combat in a way where I'm not referring to Gundam, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job of it. But
you know what? Just
nothing
you're done,
comparable.
DJ.
No, but like I think the difficulty in the game is really refreshing and really nice because especially because of the aesthetic. Like when you look at this game on the front, you think of like, all right, this is going to be just a passive experience, and they allow you to have a passive experience by just doing the story mode difficulty. But like when you play in the game, it is.
And the story mode difficulty, for the most part, is the enemies are less aggressive, but not.
Yeah.
And you get not easier.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, overall it's just I'm liking what I've played so far, and I am interested to see how the combat expands.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Avery?
Yeah, I think I went on a stream of consciousness rant in our Slack chat about my feelings about this game, and as they sort of evolved over time, in that I am the person on this podcast who likes Souls games. I'm also the person of them who, because I like Souls games, I'm very critical on what type of Souls game we're getting, because the traditional Souls games are RPGs. And if you play them like an RPG, they're actually kind of easy. Sekiro was the one Souls game that, like, this is kicking me in the ass. Like this, I have to get good at this game, and it's actually kind of frustrating. It's the reason why it's one of the only Souls games I haven't finished, because I hit walls where I can't cheese this game, and it's just like it's asking me to actually be good at it, and I'm like, I don't have the time or energy to be good at this. I got other shit to do. I'll see you in hell. Second owl fight, but so when I got to the first encounter and realized this was a Souls game, I was like, okay, this is actually kind of interesting. To your point about its aesthetic not matching what a Souls-like is, like, I played this game in the beginning, I'm like, this is a 3D platformer. Then I get to combat, I'm like, no, this is a Souls game. And I'm like, the dichotomy of those two actually kind of works when you really think about old school platformers and how difficult they were in design. So like when I say this game feels like a PS2 game, I'm giving it praise by saying it feels a certain way.
It feels like an experience that we were missing. We don't have anymore.
It's a nostalgic experience, but it's a nostalgic experience that's actually heating the experience and not just making you feel like the experience.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then the one thing I will say, Ember Lab, this is their first game. They are responsible for a pretty good Majora's Mask short and a bunch of like side projects and other animation and video game asset farming and stuff. This is their first game. As far as I can tell, they're a 10 to 15 people team. They had some ancillary work with an animation studio, I think in Korea, but for the most part, the actual game itself was made by this really small team. And if I didn't find that out, I would just assume this was a AAA publisher. Like it's a AAA game. That's how strong the game's presentation is. focus. And this is my pipe dream. This game is reviewing pretty well. It's got 8s across the board for the most part. How it sells, I don't know, because in my mind, it was marketed poorly.
Yeah.
I hope they get a second game. I hope they get a second game that evolves on the tenets that they built with this game. And this is one of those studios where, based on PlayStation's acquisition style, that if they keep hitting it out of the park with like work like this, I could easily see them becoming a first party in the next 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Definitely.
For sure.
If Microsoft doesn't try to snatch them up.
Well,
I like that game.
Well, based on Microsoft's acquisition strategy, yes, they would 100% spend $100 million on $100 million on a studio that's never made a Microsoft game before.
Okay, Sean, you got anything else to?
Nah, that's all I've been playing.
Okay. I'm talking about Kenna with Kenna. Any
Oh,
more thoughts on Kenna?
Nah. Not that I could think of at the moment.
Okay. The last thing I wanted to say is in terms of the actual animation style, I noticed that the designs of the character's face with Kenna especially, she has a mouth tick where one part of her cheek goes like higher than one part of her smile goes higher than the other, and it's I forget the name of it, but it's just like it's such a
You've never met a person. You've never met a person with palsy.
Palsy, that's what it is. I had it in my head. But I was like, that can't be. I don't think that's it.
A stroke.
No, but that's what happens. It's like it's a face stroke essentially. But yeah, it was just like possibly, and then like her arm is covered for a reason. But it was just really cool to see and notice that. I was like, oh wait, that's intentional. So I kind of wonder if that's actually covered in the story as we progress through the game. But anyways, we'll find that out and we will discuss that later on. So as we continue,
face.
What happened? Or maybe what?
Or I said, or maybe that's just her face.
Oh, okay. Maybe so.
Hey, it's a double-A game. It could be a limitation to the animation rig.
That's also a possibility. So, before we continue, we are going to have a word from our sponsors. It's us.
Sponsors, nigga.
There you go. And we are back. Now it is time for the quick hits. Number 1, this comes from Fanbyte. Actually, wait. Let me stop that. I'm going to redo that. I didn't give enough break between the two. Okay. And we are back. Now it is time for the quick hits. Number 1, this comes from Fanbyte by Emron Khan. Hey. In case you missed it, here's everything from Nintendo Switch September 2021 Direct. We're going to make it even shorter by only talking about 3 of the heavy hitters. First up, Bayonetta 3. So this was a game that was hinted at for the longest time. There was no news on it, and then it finally came out, and Bayonetta has apparently different hair. Someone explain this to me.
Okay. So apparently there's a Twitter profile called Bayonetta News, and we went 1,386 days between any Bayonetta news. So glory be to Jubileus.
Well then,
hilarious.
No, okay. So this is we in the Bayonetta News Circle Jerk Twitter sphere have been feasting.
And Reddit.
There's a lot.
We've been feasting on any information about Bayonetta. Popular Bayonetta scholar Susie the Spear Hunter has posited some interesting information that we're all rolling. Her name is Susie. She calls herself the Spear Hunter. She's really cool.
Her name is Susie.
She has a very specific aesthetic, and she puts that aesthetic in everything she does. But she does a lot of Resident Evil and Capcom retro video essays and retrospectives. So she's also a big Bayonetta fan because of that DNA. But yeah, so the Bayonetta in this game has a very different hairstyle than she normally has. In that part 1, she had a beehive. Part 2, she had a pixie cut. Now she has braids, but she doesn't have normal braids. She has braids that the character of Cereza from Bayonetta 1 had. And if you didn't know who Cereza is Bayonetta's real name, and that character was child Bayonetta just running around in that game.
Yeah.
So
they're saying that it's Cereza, and you're probably gonna have to save yourself in the future. Some wild shit.
Because time travel has been a big part of Bayonetta, for good or worse, in every game. Like part 1, she was hanging out with her child self. Part 2, she was hanging out with her evil dad, but before he became evil. So we're all speculating that there's time travel involved in this game, and the Bayonetta that you're playing as, the one they displayed, is a grown-up alternate version of the Cereza from the first Bayonetta game, and that she's somehow going to be involved in the rescuing of the Bayonetta that we all know, because the original teaser for this game featured Bayonetta seemingly dying to some evil force. So people are speculating some stuff. Now, the trailer ends with a weird Devil May Cry shout out, and like, oh, it's Virgil. I initially thought it was John from Bayonetta, who is Bayonetta's Virgil character. But I think it actually might be old Bayonetta, because that character has short hair, and the adult Bayonetta from Bayonetta 2 had short hair, and she's carrying around the toy doll that Bayonetta's Cereza alter ego carried. So there's some connection between these two characters.
All I'm gonna need is those cowards to actually cross over Devil May Cry and Bayonetta.
I just heard some stuff.
Well,
I'm not positive I understood any of this.
Well, that's always the frustrating thing about Bayonetta. Bayonetta posits that they exist in the same world. It's just the Devil May Cry team has never acknowledged that. Like, one of the summons that she has is Phantom from Devil May Cry 1. It's that spider, that molten spider with the scorpion tail, which they show a lot in that Bayonetta 3 trailer.
Oh, yeah, I did see that, yeah.
Like, there's some lore, some lore elements attached to certain items that talk about Dante's mother being a witch from Bayonetta.
The Bayonetta team's like, notice me, senpai. And Devil May Cry's like, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, I'm super hyped for this game. I'm super hyped.
See, okay.
I just wish it was on a PS5.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. The other thing we want to talk about is the Last of Us meets Kirby game, or Kirby the Forbidden Kirby and the Forbidden Land.
I can't wait for Kirby to go on an Ellie style revenge mission and kill King Dedede. It's gonna be great.
Break Dedede's kneecaps. Where'd you put Ellie?
You brought this on yourself.
Yeah, this game is interesting. This is a open world-ish, I should say platformer Kirby game, not open world, platformer Kirby game, because we don't know if this is going to be open world or not. Yeah, and I think this is new for the Kirby franchise, right?
100%. I've never seen the Kirby game ape this sort of 3D sort of Sonic Adventure-like Mario 3D Mario game aesthetic. They've always been 2D side scrollers that have been super easy.
And we
funny
talked
thing
about
that is it's not even the post-apocalypse; it's modern day Seattle.
Oh, damn.
I was gonna say Philadelphia, but Seattle works.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that in the direct, I paused the question. Who has the deeper throat? Is it Kirby or is it Yoshi?
I'm gonna ignore this conversation entirely. Let's just move forward.
First off, we all know that the real answer is Birdo.
Wow. Wow.
I thought Sean brought the cringe level at the very beginning with that Alex Chen joke, but you guys knocked it out of the park right there with that tag team duo of just like, let's dig a deeper hole.
Deeper hole, you say?
Podcast wouldn't be anything if we didn't do anything like that. All right. Next up, we could talk about Splatoon 3, the return of the mammalians.
Are you excited, Sean? Are you excited, Sean?
Splatoon 3?
Yeah.
I've only played the beta test of Splatoon 1.
Yeah, that's the wrong person, Argus.
I don't know why I thought Sean played Splatoon.
He liked the Squid Girl in Smash.
There we go. That's what it was.
The Avery, you're excited for this?
Yeah, I've always wanted to play a Splatoon game, but like there were two barriers of entrance for me. One, it was a multiplayer focused game, and two, it was a multiplayer focused game that I had to play on Switch. So And as we've talked about before, I love Nintendo games, but it's been a drought for a long time. I wasn't on the Animal Crossing train, and
Yeah.
I haven't touched my Switch in when was Astral Chain? I think since Astral Chain, so like last year. So it's like this is something I'm actually super interested in playing now because hey, it's got a single player, and Splatoon is one of those games that started off with a dumb, interesting premise, and they built a really weird, bizarre lore around that premise. And I am interested in seeing where they're going from there.
Okay.
I can't wait for Splatoon to cross over with Dokvi.
Oh my gosh. Now that could work actually. That really could work. In terms of Splatoon, I really love the aesthetic, but that's kind of it. I don't know about playing a multiplayer game on Switch unless it smashes is kind of foreign to me. But last up, very briefly, they talked about the Mario movie and Chris Pratt's gonna be playing Mario.
That's
They shouldn't have. They really
that's a choice. That is a choice.
Yeah. They also showed the other actors, but mainly everyone's takeaway is why is Chris Pratt playing Mario?
I'm very excited to see Jack Black be Bowser.
Here's the thing,
I'm okay with that.
Every other
Jack Black should have played Mario. Like Jack Black should have played Mario.
Well, like every other aspect,
any one of them could have played Mario.
Every other aspect of this casting is super interesting, kind of inspired. It's just the Chris Pratt thing, and like for me, it's super like okay. The most jarring thing with the only question I have with the Chris Pratt acting thing is one, he is a good voice actor. Like he's done voice acting in a bunch of other films and movies that he's done well. He's been doing his voice for the most part, but he at least out of everyone they named here on this list, except for Jack Black, and he's the most accomplished.
And the other guy.
And Charlie Day to a certain extent. He's the most accomplished voice actor there. The question is, what voice is he doing for Mario? And from what he's talked about, he has a voice thought up, and it's not his normal voice. So what's the voice? And I saw a really bizarre Twitter video or TikTok where he went like, "It's me, Mario," and then I'm like, "Nah, it's not the voice." And then moving on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so it's clearly this is something they worked on.
Woohoo! It's a me.
Chris Pratt.
It's a me, a Star-Lord.
Terrible.
Gosh. All right. Let's move on to the next thing from Kotaku from Luke Pluckett? Is it Pluckett?
Fuck it.
Anyway.
So Crystal Dynamic is also working on the new Project Dart game. This is interesting. Perfect Dart. I said Project Perfect Dart. Yeah, well, it should be Project Dart because it's a project right now because it hasn't even been started on. This is interesting because we I think last year or the year before we got that teaser to the initiatives.
We got it this year. It was at their E3 press conference. It was the one more thing.
Oh, that was this year. Okay. That kind of lines up now. So yeah, so that was a like teaser trailer kind of a palette to let you know like what the game's supposed to be feel with.
It was more of an announcement trailer.
Okay. Yeah. So essentially, Crystal Dynamic is going to be teaming up with the initiative to work on this game. There was a couple stuff mentioned. They said that this isn't going to affect Avengers, so Avery, you should be okay with that. On top of that,
it's those hands together, Marcus. For the listeners, Marcus was, I don't know, doing some obscene gesture at my expense.
No, I was doing applause in sign language.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that what that is? Look at my man. Let's just acting it all up. Oh my gosh. They also mentioned that Tomb Raider is still a thing, so that's cool. Maybe we might get some news on that in the future.
That was a weird aside of what they were doing. It's like we're still working on a Marvel Avengers as well as Tomb Raider, and I'm like, okay, that is interesting news.
So a lot of people were speculating that this is for the initiative because maybe they don't have the manpower expertise to work on this game, but it seems that it just might be one of the people from the initiative came from Crystal Dynamics, and he's just I think it's going to be more along the lines of just pinging those people to get like ideas of what to do or how to implement certain things for this new Perfect Dark game. So
I was on two minds when I heard this. I was of the mind that this is just them collaborating to smooth out the process, as like most people have speculated. My initial thought was, you announced this game earlier this year. It's been in production for 2 to 3 years. Something must have gone wrong.
That's a good point. That's actually a really good point, yeah.
And it's like, especially when you call the initiative your quadruple A development studio.
Yep.
To need a piggyback off of another studio felt like a weird idea, which probably would have been mitigated better if we didn't already know what this game was and that it existed.
True. Yeah,
I'm more in line to think of the former, that this is just this is a brand new studio that doesn't have their pipeline mapped out and they're working from scratch for something else. So they're leaning on a studio who fundamentally has made games like this before to get to smooth things over, so they can probably get this game out in a more quicker time period. Because I
definitely think that this is just them. This is an easy pull from them. Like they have the relationship already, so they're just going here to like figure out how they can, as you said, smooth out their pipeline.
Yeah,
but we'll see what happens from this. Maybe we won't. I feel like these kinds of talks and collaborations happens a lot, but just behind the scenes, and it's just not really made news out of, or we just don't know.
Well, it's newsworthy because we know nothing about the title and the studio working on this game. It's been radio silent, and the only information we've gotten is, hey, we're partnering with this studio who's working on other games themselves to help out our game. So without any more information, it's hard to gauge what the collaboration really is.
Right. All right. Number 3. This comes from IGN from Matt Kim. Apple effectively bans Fortnite from the Apple Store for 5 years, roughly. Son. So Tim Sweetie revealed on social media this morning, well, at that point, a letter sent to him by Apple rejecting Epic's request to have its developer program account reinstated. An Apple developer account is required to develop and deliver apps on iOS. Furthermore, Apple says it will not consider requests to reinstate Epic's account until the district court's judgment the district court's judgment becomes final and non-appealable, which Sweeney says should or could be as long as 5 years. So this, I mean, I don't really got much to say about this. It's one of those things where they just are going to continue going until one of them waves a white flag and it's like officially over. But
well,
they're doing all that they could right now.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting things because I think one of the points of contention that Epic was talking about with how petty Apple was about their app store. And so Apple banning them for the next 5 years is just like, hey, we weren't lying when we were talking about how petty they were about their app store.
Right.
There also is the argument where you went into my house and you lit fire to my couch and now you want back into my house.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's just like, you are like trying to get them to change their store, and it is definitely just like going into a McDonald's and being like, why is this price so high? Like, make the fries 5 cents. Do it.
I mean, Epic should open up a shell. Yeah. Epic should open up a shell shadow company that's not quote unquote air quotes affiliated with them, and give them the Fortnite game code. And wave their fist like, hey, they stole our game code. All the while still selling Fortnite shit.
They should call that shell company Sipe.
We're gonna sue them. They're gonna
they'll rue the day.
Right. They'll rue the day they stole our game code. Keep going.
All right. Number 4. This comes from IGN as well, but this comes from Jared Moore. Respawn responds to its own employee's Titanfall comment. who knows what the future holds? So essentially, what happens here is a Respawn employee said on Twitter that essentially they're not doing Titanfall, and
because we're working on too many games at the moment.
Right. And then a Respawn higher up responded to that and said, actually...
No.
No.
Roll back.
Okay.
I saw a article where they were, like Avery said, we're working on too much things. For sure, there is nothing coming out on Titanfall anymore. We're just, old game is old. We're not fucking with it anymore. And there was like a whole article about that. And then he had an update.
Yeah, like from what like Sean is right. This comment came out by a Respawn employee, and then people wrote articles about it because it was talking about Titanfall and the future of Titanfall. And then Respawn was like, regardless of any reporting you've heard, Titanfall is part of our DNA. Who knows what the future can hold? And then people changed their articles to like Fortnite. I mean, Respawn responds to Respawn's response to Titanfall, and it was just clowning them.
Jesus, that's
Responseception.
I'm of the mindset that Titanfall 3 is a pipe dream. They are working on too many stuff that frankly is more popular and more popular and worth more than Titanfall was. Apex is their billion dollar AAA IP that they are struggling to make sure it doesn't fall apart. I want to point out last week that after the most recent update, that game's servers were on fire for like a full week. They had to cancel major tournaments because of it. That was the whole thing. And then they're working on Jedi Fallen Order, and then they're also working on other games with EA. So like they're relatively stretched in. And I think the initial comment about Respawn, what the new of the future holds, was them trying to ward off the stock market. Because like, hey, Titanfall has a name recognition. If we come out and flat out say we're not working on Titanfall, EA stock might like fluctuate. And so this is them being like, come on, guys.
Of course, might be working on Titanfall
at some point in the future.
Why wouldn't we?
Yeah. Okay. So number 5 and the last quick hit. This also comes from IGN. It also comes from Jared Moore. Prices for Fortnite's collaboration with fashion brand Balenciaga will make your eyes...
You're saying it wrong. It's Balenciaga.
I need about 2 or 3 marbles in my mouth.
I looked at the clothes. This is
ridiculous.
Utterly ridiculous. $500 and it's a regular ass.
I mean, that's
shirt that says
that's pretty much
on it.
That's pretty much
it's high fashion, bro.
High fashion is.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, yes and no. Like I seen that.
Wait.
When Michael
let's get in. Let me actually list off some of these prices before.
No, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the cover of the the Fortnite and Balenciaga collaboration, you see the dog-faced character with the white hoodie that says Fortnite on it. Fortnite.
Did you say alt-right hoodie?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so that hoodie, mind you, it's a white hoodie with Fortnite written on it in black, is just $725.
Just $750, you know?
Like,
you got that, right?
Like, what? If I sell like a kidney and a spleen, I think I can get that. Yeah, so this is ridiculous. There's more prices. There is a fans can purchase a Fortnite branded Balenciaga hat for $395. There's also a denim jacket for $1,290. I put this little note. This reminds me of the Michael B. Jordan /Coat collaboration partnership or whatever.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, like this is just ridiculous. Like it's
at least that shit looked cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wanted that jacket. Granted, it was expensive, but it was at least a functional 3-in-1 parka jacket. Like this shit here.
This is stupid. But yeah, go ahead.
High fashion operates on high fashion is not for the common man. So I mean, for us, like, this seems insane But high fashion isn't trying to appeal to us anyway. So,
yep.
Yeah, I'll talk to my brother about this and see what he thinks. He's like, Eric, did you model any of this stuff in Fashion Week this year?
All right. So your brother was cooler than you.
Oh, way cooler. Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, your brother's a professional model.
I would never dispute that. He's cooler than me. Oh, he has more money than me. He's prettier than me. He's younger than me. He's taller than me. He's all the things. Does he
have your kind of beard?
He could probably grow it. I don't know it.
Well, is he on the 2-time award-winning Press X Start podcast?
3-time award-winning.
Does he want to be on the podcast?
Y'all remember SpongeBob, the movie when the dude grew a beard? He like pulled out his mask and like Oh yeah, your brother's gonna overtake you like that. Just
yes, exactly. He's better than me in every way.
Does he have audio engineering experience?
Give him 10 minutes.
It's right.
Oh God, man, go ahead.
All right. Well, that has been our podcast for today. We hope you enjoyed all the laughs we provided to you. If you did and you enjoyed it and you liked it, please like and share and subscribe on our YouTube. Please, you can't really like the podcast. You can share the podcast with your friends though. The YouTube channel, in case you have not heard and you're not watching this, because if you're watching this, you can definitely see the link on the screen. But you can go to pressx2start.com/YouTube and it will take you right to you need to be. How do I normally wrap this up? I'm not going to normally wrap this up. I said the stuff. Make sure you check out more of our content on our YouTube page. Make sure you listen to our YouTube videos. And make sure you are following us on IG, because that's where we do a lot of our everyday things. Like Blacks Are Strange. You might be wondering, what is that? Find that on our IG channel. Or Blackness Infinite.
It's not a good post.
It's a great post. or Blacks of the Guardian, or Blacks of the Galaxy. There you go.
It's not even a good pun. It's not even
but it's true though. So right. with that being said, you take care, you be safe, and you have a great day.
Uno out.